What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday, May 7th. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online, sportstalk1051.com. Stream it up over there. You got your app, you got your smart devices. Video stream also up and rolling. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram this morning. Appreciate you making us part of your starts. What do we got on the good old game plan for us? Well, Brewers looked like they were going to come away with a game one victory against the Kansas City Royals last night, but seventh inning, Brewers were up 2-0, get to the bottom there, and the Royals able to put up 3 runs, and that was just enough for the Royals to take game one of this series. But shout out to Bryce Wilson, this guy who has been kind of thrusted into the starting rotation, began the season, bullpen arm, then because of injuries, called upon to be a starter, and they've stretched him out, and he had a fantastic game last night. You can't ask for a better performance from Wilson, who is being stretched out as a starter. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, just 1 hit given up, no earned runs. So, but doesn't get the decision, doesn't get the win because the offense not able to help him out. Brewers with a total of just 3 hits. There are 2 runs coming in the fourth inning thanks to a Gary Sanchez home run. So the offense not able to help out Bryce Wilson and tack on some more runs there. Bullpen with Koenig coming in and couldn't even get through the inning, giving up a hit and 3 earned runs, walk, home run on there. So Peguero also giving up a couple hits. He got charged with the blown save. So, but Roby Milner came in and locked it down for inning and 2/3, which for some, for a good few, kind of questioned. Maybe Pat Murphy's decision. Why not bring in Milner earlier in that point of the game? But it is what it is at this point in time. So Crew will try again tonight against the Royals for game 2 here. Brewers, though, still, where did it go? Yeah, still holding on to first place in the division thanks to the Cubbies losing last night too. So Brewers holding on by win percentage, 588 win percentage. Cubbies sitting there at 583. Up for the Crew tonight, it's going to be Colin Ray. It's going to be a tough pitching matchup here because right now going for Kansas City, you got Lugo over there who's 5-1 with a 1.60 ERA so far on the season. Seth Lugo, he's pitched in 7 games, started 7 games, and the man is already 5-1. He's coming off of a couple of really good performances. His last game was against Toronto on May 1st, where he picked up a win, went 7 innings, just 2 hits, 2 earned runs, or excuse me, 2 hits and 1 earned run and 8 strikeouts. The start before that against the Tigers on the 26th, went 7 innings again, 3 hits, no earned runs, and struck out 9. So the Brewers offense better be ready tonight to take on Seth. Colin Ray going to be looking for his 4th win and looking to stay undefeated. So, gonna be a tough pitching matchup though tonight for this Brewers offense going up against Seth. Although one Brewers hitter who's had a lot of experience against him and is actually, not fared too well here. He has a home run against him, but that would be Reese Hoskins. 22 at bats, far the most, far the most of any Brewers player right now. But 22 at bats, just 136 against him. So we'll talk about this game, preview it, recap last night's performance and such coming up in a little bit. Minnesota Twins, though, if we got any Twins fans listening, they picked up a win against Seattle, so they got their 20th win of the season. I know there's no Bucks action, but we do have some Timberwolves fans. I mean, they're not far across from us, right just over the border there, and, man, if you're a Timberwolves fan, you've gotta be geeked, you've gotta be pumped, you've gotta be excited with what you're witnessing with your team right now. Another win last night in Denver, and the Timberwolves are now up 2-0 in that series, and the series now goes back to Minnesota. Even without Rudy Gobert in the game last night, 106-80 victory for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Anthony Edwards legacy kinda still continuing to roll on here. 27 points for the youngster. The man shot 11 of 17 from the field, 7 assists to go along with it. Karl Anthony Towns, 10 of 15 from the field. He finished with a double-double, 27 points and 12 rebounds. So, Timberwolves, another big time win. Remember, Denver were 33-8 at home this year, and Minnesota just went in there and took 2. Just took 2 of them right away, right from Denver, and now they get to go home. I mean, you got people chanting, you got Timberwolves fans chanting T-Wolves in 4. I mean, you gotta be feeling pretty darn good about your team. They're playing some really good basketball. I'm a big believer in momentum when it comes to sports and such, and right now, boy, do the Timberwolves have all the momentum in the world. Whoo! You gotta be pumped, you gotta be excited if you're a Timberwolves fan right now. They're playing some amazing basketball. So, yeah, and then the NBA playoffs, you had, the Knicks taking down the Pacers last night. That was a good game too. It was an entertaining game if you were, kinda following along or paying attention to that one too. So, but, man, if you are a Timberwolves fan or if you're a Minnesota sports fan, okay? I know we got a few of you that listen, it's okay to admit it. I mean, how many of our contributors are Minnesota sports fans on here? T-Wolves gotta be your best shot right now to win a championship, right? I mean, if you were putting some bets on it, you're putting some future bets on this or something. I mean, T-Wolves gotta be your best bet. That's not a knock on the Twins or not a knock on the Vikings or anything. Not even close. But I mean, if my if my Bucks were playing like this, I'd be jumping through the roof and be like, "There's nobody gonna be slowing us down right now. Not with how everything's going. No siree." So, what else we got on docket? Hey, we heard from Adam Stenovich and Jeff Hafley, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator for the Packers yesterday, and I want to play. I want to play a little bit from Jeff Hafley because again, he's still new to us, right? I mean, we've heard him speak at his introductory presser. We heard all the right things from him. We've heard, a lot of positive stuff from players or other coaches who have worked with him. But I want to play some of his presser from yesterday, and like his Q rating, I think amongst Packers fans right now has got to be pretty darn high because I think the guy knows exactly what to say in front of Packers fans to get them all excited and pumped up. And I'm not saying he's saying that just from a PR sense. What I think a lot of Packers fans have wanted from their defense. He's saying all the right things right now in terms of what he wants to do and in terms of his philosophy. Listening, watching to it yesterday, and I even tweeted it out. I'm like, if you're a Packers fan watching or listening to this, you just got to be like jumping through the roof because I feel like this is something that for all the stuff that he was saying and his vision and again his philosophy, you just got to be pumped and you got to be excited about the future. So if you did get a chance, we'll play a little bit of that so you can hear it. Talked a little bit about the linebackers, obviously with the safeties and such, but it was some good insight from new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. Again, a guy that we don't know a whole lot about right now. Still new to us, right? We Got to hear him answer a bunch of questions a couple months ago, a few months ago, and now he's been around for a little bit, for a few months. He's gotten to work with some of the guys, some of the players, some of the rookies. So you're going to hear him talk about the addition of Xavier McKinney, talk about the linebacking core, all that good stuff. I thought there was some good tidbits in there. So we'll get to that. It is a Tuesday. ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears, people? Hit me up. All right. Hit me up with the text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We'll catch up on all things Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal in a couple of hours from now, about 8:20 this morning. Badger basketball kind of been active, not kind of, they have been active in the transfer portal as of late. We know now it's up to three total players they have added to the transfer portal. I know we chatted about a couple of them last week with RJ, but we got another one to hit up. So we'll talk all things Badgers with Mr. Cardinal coming up in a couple of hours from now. So let's get her going here this morning. Let's get her rolling. We'll open up things. We'll chat a little baseball here. Then we're going to hear from Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. And I'll throw this out for Bucks. I mean, if you're if you're a Bucks fan or just an NBA fan, whose stock you buying right now? Are you buying some Bucks stock with Giannis and Dame? Or are you buying some T-Wolves stock right now with Anthony Edwards and Cats, Carl Anthony Towns? Which stock or which team do you think has the best shot in the next couple of years to come away with a championship? T-Wolves obviously are still alive, so you could be like, well, but they got the better shot this year. But do you think they can get through the West? And do you think they can take down, let's say, the Celtics, if that's who they face in the Eastern Conference? Assuming that the Timberwolves might have to go up against the Thunder in the next round. But hey, if the T-Wolves make it to the NBA Finals, they would have earned it. Going through the Suns, that a lot of people, including myself, including Brandon, I think a lot of us, like Katie, Bradley Beal, Booker, are they going to be that team that kind of turns on the postseason? No, they swept them. And now they've taken two out of, the first two on the road against the defending champ Nuggets. If they do face the Thunder, if the T-Wolves move on and they face the Thunder and they get through that one, boy, oh boy, they would have gone through the gauntlet, and they absolutely deserve to get there. But you're looking at the Timberwolves and you're looking at the Bucks right now. In the next couple of years, next few years, who's stock buying the most? You still riding with Greek Freak Giannis, or the guy who is just trending upward? I mean, the arrow is so big right now and pointing up. Anthony Edwards. He's the talk of the league. So we'll throw some hoops chat in there too. But we'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up. Talk some baseball and all that fun stuff to get her going here on this Tuesday morning. And text me you're grinding your gears. What's grinding your gears? All right. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. A big thanks to all of you who have been sending some photos over to put up on our trophy gallery, the Tilden Gun Trophy Gallery, up at our website, sportstalk1051.com. You want to check it out, just visit that website and click on the Outdoors tab. You want to send a photo, got to email it on over, all right? That email, same page. Email it on over so we can upload that baby and put it on there. I know I got to add a few more here, so but if you haven't had a chance, maybe from the fishing opener or maybe from some spring turkey hunting, send those photos so we can share it with the rest of the class, with the rest of the world out there. All right, do a little bragging, show off your trophy. So, and don't forget too, if you're still maybe got your turkey season coming up here, need something, need some last minute hunting firearm needs, go check out our friends at Tilden Gun. You can visit their website, tildengun.com. Seriously, it's so easy to order off there. I've ordered off there, ordered Hudson's BB gun off there a couple days, showed up at the shop over there at Tilden Gun. So super easy, best prices, wide, huge selection over there at Tilden Gun. And if you haven't been to their shop at 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls, it's a pretty sweet man cave over there too. Let's just that's the decor. I mean, they've got it set up nicely. Sean and Hunter do a fantastic job over there too. So high quality customer service, just really fun and really easy, awesome people to work with. So, or maybe Mother's Day is coming up, huh? Wife, mom, need a new deer rifle? Just saying. Just saying. Treat mom, treat your wife. Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's get things going here this morning. Opening or the lead off, excuse me. Let's talk a little Brewers here. G-Man, I'm gonna need a little bit more enthusiasm from you, man. That might be one of your more quieter texts. G-Man saying DK Brewers will win tonight. Brewers will win the series. I need a little more enthusiasm, man. I need a little bit more G-Man enthusiasm, buddy. So, but Brewers last night falling to the Kansas City Royals 3-2. It looked like they were going to maybe pick up a win. I mean, they're up 2-0 going into that seventh. Bryce was dealing. You got to tip your cap to him because he had a fantastic outing, 6 innings, no earned runs, just 1 hit. But bullpen, couldn't hold it down. Kansas City able to put up 3 runs in the bottom frame of the 7th. And the offense not able to climb out of it and grab a couple of runs in the final couple innings there. Just 3 total hits for this Brewers offense. And when you're looking at this Brewers offense, maybe in the last, couple weeks or so, I mean, there's been games where they've put up some hits, 8 hits, in a 6-5 loss against the Cubbies. They, 7-1 win before the Cubs series there. So I mean, they've kind of been up and down. It seems like here as of late, with some of their offensive numbers. But when you look at how they rank in terms of Major League Baseball, offensively, they're still up there. I mean, OPS, they got the 5th highest OPS in all of Major League Baseball. The Dodgers are number 1 at 812, which, let's be real, they should be. You got Baltimore at 762, Philly 746, Atlanta 740, and the Brewers are sitting there at 739. I mean, the National League is representing right now in terms of some hitting and some OPS numbers, which I don't know, like back in the day, maybe when I was a youngster and such, when you thought of offensive teams and hitting teams, it's always the AL teams. It was probably just because the AL had the DH, but now everybody's got the DH. So Padres are right behind the Brewers too at 736. So, I mean, Brewers are still 5th in OPS. Home runs, you want to throw that in the equation? Brewers are 6th, have the 6th most home runs, tied with the Padres for the 6th most. Baltimore's number 1. Dodgers. The Oakland A's. You know what? I know we're not an Oakland A's station, and we don't have probably a ton of Oakland A's fans or A's or whatever we're calling them right now. Mark Kotsay deserves some credit for this team, for what he's doing. They're 17-19 right now. They're 2 games under 500, but they're third in their division. They're ahead of Houston, and they're ahead of the Angels. I mean, this ownership has just been nothing but a joke for the A's. They haven't put to. I mean, you look at look what they did last year. They were just gosh awful. Give a lot of credit to Mark Kotsay and the A's right now. They're going out there and I think exceeding some expectations right now. But I had to throw the A's in there. But they're third all across Major League Baseball in terms of home runs, tied up there with Philly. The Yankees are 1 back for 5th, and then the Brewers and the Padres tied for 6th there. Stolen bases, Brewers have the 3rd most, just behind Cincinnati and Washington. Cincinnati and Washington, I mean, they're tied at 57. Then you got the Brewers and Tampa Bay tied with 45 after that. Batting average, Brewers 7th. Major League Baseball, Dodgers 273, number 1. Brewers are at 251. So even though as of late, in the last couple weeks here or so, Brewers have kind of been up and down, a little inconsistent with some of their offensive numbers, not putting up a lot of hits or timely hits and such. But still, when you look at it from an overall standpoint across all of Major League Baseball, they're still a top 10 offense in a lot of categories. Hits, got the 8th most hits. And they've played 34 games. The team that's got the most hits, top 2 teams that's got the most hits, the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers have played 3 more games. Padres have played 4 more games than the Brewers. So, I mean, yeah, it's been a little inconsistent here or there. And a game like last night, you'd like to see the offense kind of give them a little bit more run support. No doubt about it. Not trying to make any excuses. But overall, offensively, still top 10 in a lot of categories out there. I was looking at those numbers a little bit earlier this morning. So Brewers, though, the offense, since we're talking a little bit about the Brewers offense here, they're going to have their hands full tonight going up against Sean Lugo, who's 5-1 already this year, a 1.60 ERA. He started 7 games, and he's already 5-1. I mean, a decision in every single game besides one so far, and his only loss coming back on just April 21st against Baltimore, where he went 5 1/3 and gave up 4 earned runs. But, I mean, the man is off to a fantastic start this season. In fact, that loss against Baltimore, that's the only time he didn't go at least 6 innings this year. All 7 of his games, he started off March 30th against the Twinnies. Since then, 6 innings, 6 2/3, 6 innings, 7 innings, 5 1/3, 7 innings, 7 innings. I mean, this is a guy he's eaten a lot of innings. And the thing is, he's not like throwing a ton of pitches. He's only thrown over 100 pitches once this year. I mean, so he's going into these games, with current standards and such. I mean, he's going deep in there, but he's not throwing a ton of pitches, only going over 100 just one. Or, excuse me, 2 times now. The last 2 times he's gone over 100, but barely. 101 and then 103. So Brewers offense is going to have their hands full going up against him. They're going to have to tack on more than just 3 hits. Otherwise, he's going to cruise through tonight. Colin Ray, who has been one of the nice surprises, pleasant surprises for the Crew, he's going to be looking for his 4th win of the season to remain undefeated, 3-0, 2.67 ERA. He's coming off of a very good start against Tampa Bay, where he went 6 innings. Remember, this was the day after the Freddie Peralta ejection, when Freddie was kind of looking to go deep and help out that bullpen, gets ejected. Colin Ray comes out the next day, goes 6 innings, picks up the win, no earned runs, striking out 5. And you want to look at Colin Ray. He has pitched in he started 6 games. He's pitched in 6 games so far this year. And this is a guy too, when you're looking at innings, I mean, he's gone 5 in I mean, he's gone more, at least 5. At least 5 in every single game. Back on the 31st, when he start March 31st, he started off his season against the Mets, went 5, 6, 5 and 2/3, 5, 6, and 6. Does he have another 6 inning type of performance with him here too? But he has been one of the better surprises and a guy who has really stepped up in terms of, for a pitching staff that has been in dire need of some help because of injuries, because of some inexperience and youth in a lot of areas. Colin Ray, I know yesterday we were kind of talking about when we approach first quarter grades for the Brewers. Contreras is probably going to, get the A plus, get the MVP. Colin Ray's Bryce Farang in the running for most improved. Biggest surprises, pleasant surprises. They're going to get high grades. Colin Ray's going to get a high grade for the first quarter of the season. No doubt about it. He has been fantastic this year. Has he got another one in him tonight? Just hope the offense shows up for the Brewers and gives him some run support. Unless Seth has one of those nights that's just going to be a little off for him and the Brewers offense could take advantage. All right, let's take a quick break here, and then I want to play a little bit from Jeff Hafley, his presser yesterday, new Packers defensive coordinator. We haven't had a ton, we don't still know a whole lot about him. We've heard him a little bit, introductory presser and that sort of stuff. But I thought he said some good stuff yesterday, some interesting stuff that I feel like Packers fans are just probably like fist pumping every time, they hear him say some certain things because it just feels like a lot of stuff that he's saying is something that Packers fans have been banging the table for and wanting to hear, wanting to see their defense do for a while now. So if you didn't get a chance to watch or listen yesterday, we'll play a little bit of it coming up. And I want your reactions from what you heard from Jeff Hafley, too. Shout out to Residence Branding Company, the official swag provider of the program. You want a link to the Swag Cave and maybe get your own DK Show swag or Man Cave podcast swag. Let me know and I'll send you the link. Otherwise, it's on my Twitter bio over there too. Facebook, I think, is on the bio over there as well. Or check out the Man Cave podcast. It's in the description at the bottom there. The link's over there too. So some sweet swag up there, hats, tees, hoodies, all that good stuff over there. But big thanks to Resident Branding Company for being the official swag provider for the program and the podcast. G-Man, you got your swag yet? Did you get any of your swag yet, man? G-Man also saying, I'll tell you now that the Brewers will win the World Series this year, and the Badgers will win a national championship football, Pack will win a Super Bowl, and you'll get a hole-in-one at the Kasper Classic. You know, G-Man, yesterday was 21 years ago, the 21st anniversary of my first hole-in-one. 21 years ago, that anniversary can now officially, legally drink. 21 years ago, man. All right, let's hear from new Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley as he chatted a little bit with the media. He's gotten to work with some of his players now and the veterans and the rookies. So here's just a little bit from Jeff Hafley yesterday, answering some questions from the local media. Audio courtesy Packers.com. All right, so that's just a little bit from Jeff Hafley, new Packers defensive coordinator, yesterday in his presser, and there was a few things that kind of jumped off to me, and I wanted to end it there with the defensive line there. Where he said he ends every meeting and he tells the defensive line, "Go get after the quarterback," and he mentioned we're not going to be passive, we're not going to be a group that's going to be passive and react to the situation. He wants his defensive line to attack. He wants them to get after that quarterback, to be aggressive up there. And a theme that you've heard him talk about, you've heard if you've been listening to Matt LaFleur, run and hit. Run and hit has kind of been something that has been mentioned more than just a couple times by both Jeff Hafley and Matt LaFleur when they talk about this defense. Run and hit, speed, versatility. And you heard him talk about too, let's focus on a few things that we do really well and really hammer that home. Not doing too much, so you're allowing your players to play fast. How many times have we heard, different situations where maybe a guy's thinking too much when a guy is, at that quarterback spot or at the defensive spot and thinking too much instead of reacting, right? You heard him talk about not trying to do too much so they can play fast and maybe focusing on some of the things that they do really well and really hammering that home. So it's like second nature. And then he talked about, their mindset of attitude, effort, and commitment. I mean, to me, Jeff Hafley is saying all the right things and saying a lot of the stuff that we as Packers fans have been wanting to hear or have wanted to see this defense from a while. Like I was watching this and listening to it yesterday. I'm like, I feel like this is what fans have been wanting to hear for a long time. For how many years? You're hitting on all the right notes. Now, talking about it is great. Preaching about it is good. But actually doing it on the field is another thing too. So it's great to hear all this stuff, but the talking doesn't matter. The talking doesn't win you games. It's what happens on the field of play. Now, can they do this on the field? We'll see. But I think right now Jeff Hafley's got a huge Q rating amongst Packers fans. They're excited to see what this defense can do. They're excited to see the different guys in action, and I think they're excited to see a faster, aggressive defense, run and hit. That's kind of the mindset that you've heard a few times now surrounding this defense. Run and hit. Don't do too much so you can play fast. And I think Packers fans probably really, we've talked about the coverage and the secondary when it comes to that group, but they probably like to hear that defensive line note that he said there at the end too. So a few of you got some comments about that. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. Good morning, Morgs.
Well, good morning. What's the latest and greatest from Casperland?
Not a whole lot. How about you?
Hey, are you into baseball now? Like, is this officially you're digging in deep, or with the recent draft and stuff, are you kind of flirting with the idea of football again? At what point do you switch back?
It's always football, but
yeah, okay, yeah. So 100% round the clock football.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What if you had to pick, and it does not include just the U.S. sports, but what sport do you think has the most passionate fans, objectively, not just Packers?
Soccer.
So, but have you been able to attach yourself to that train?
No.
Why do you think that is? Because I know more than a few people that are in that regard where they're like, they get it. Obviously, it's the most popular sport in the world if you look at metrics on a global level. So they try like really hard, try to get into it, pick a player to follow, all that stuff, and it just doesn't translate. So why?
I think maybe for just I'll do it on a personal level. Like now they have it, but like Medford, there was never a soccer team. I mean, all we did was play it in gym, and
Okay.
I hated it in gym
Because of all the running
it wasn't the running. It was just like I don't think I knew how to play it properly, so I probably didn't enjoy it
Okay,
that
so
much.
on that note, then, this is kind of what I was thinking. Do you think it's essential to have experience with a sport to cultivate a love for it? Like you, if you had exposure to soccer and had grown up with it, then you might
Probably.
be able to. You don't think you can necessarily band hopping it into a sport?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
What is the most true statement for you then? What sport do you love because you played it versus just loving it because it's accessible, easy to watch? Like I'm a football fan and I
Mhm.
obviously never played it. So what sport translates for you deepest as a player?
It was probably basketball.
Okay, then where does football come in the
It's
mix?
I mean, the top 3 that I thought of right away was basketball, football, and golf
Okay.
for me.
And in order of your preference to play or to watch?
To so are we talking now or back then?
Both, because
Okay.
how does it change when you get older?
It's to play now is golf because I don't wanna play football or basketball,
Because it makes
so
you hurt just looking at it?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But younger, now younger it'd be football or basketball,
Okay.
and I didn't really care to watch golf. I mean, Tiger was there, so it wasn't too bad, but
Well, I think a lot of people have that maturation too, because like I remember sitting down with my old man and watching football games, and that's still, our number one sport. We try to go to Lambeau every year and that kind of thing. But as my dad gets older, he's more of a baseball guy.
mm,
And I'm wondering if that's because it is like a slower play,
it's more of
as
a casual sort of
you
thing.
can tune in and out, you can work a little bit while you have the
You
game
can walk
on.
around the stadium and get beer without missing anything too important, so,
I think the beer might be the key.
yeah,
You
but
stumbled upon that, right?
Second hour kicking off on this Tuesday morning, kind of a wet Tuesday morning, depending on where you're listening to us from right now. But appreciate you joining us here this morning. Coming up this hour, we'll actually coming up here in just a skosh here. We'll talk some hoops. I know the Bucks are not in action right now, but we got some T-Wolves fans that are listeners. And right now, if you are a Timberwolves fan, man, you got to be pumped with what you're seeing with your team. And Anthony Edwards has been the talk of the league thus far. So T-Wolves picking up a big Game 2 victory. Go to take two to start the series 2-0 and take two on the road against Denver, where Denver was fantastic in the regular season. That is huge for this Timberwolves team. Get to that here in just a minute. We spent the first hour talking some Brewers. Brewers falling yesterday, 3-2 to the Royals. Looked like they were going to come away with a victory, but seventh inning there, Royals putting up 3, and that was enough to get the victory. So Brewers will try again tonight. Colin Ray going to be on the mound for the Crew. We finished up the the first hour, listening to Jeff Hafley, new Packers defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. And, the things that stood out to me listening to Hafley was, the mindset of run and hit with his defense, speed, physicality, not doing too much so you can play fast, attitude, effort, commitment. Talked about the defensive line, saying, not going to be passive and reacting, wants to be aggressive, going after the quarterback. James on our YouTube video saying, really liked what I heard from Hafley. Of course, fans always need to remember part of the coach's job is PR, but he came across as believable, passionate, and a great communicator. Kyle on YouTube saying Hafley is going to be a breath of fresh air in Green Bay. Love how he's going back to the 4-3-4-2 sets and going to be physical and man-to-man with the defensive backs. Going to be a night and day difference. So I feel like Jeff Hafley right now, his Q rating is pretty darn high amongst Packers fans. You're hearing a lot of the stuff that we've wanted to hear for the last few years, but as we know too, talk can be cheap. Talk is great. Talk gets us excited. Now let's see it on the field. Let's see it get done on the field there. So we'll talk a little bit more Packers coming up a little bit later on. We've got Badger Chat coming up next hour with Mr. RJ Cardinal, a little over an hour from now here. But, last week we talked about the Badger basketball team hitting the transfer portal and such. So they've added a few players now to this team. So we'll get the latest and hit that with RJ Cardinal coming up a little bit later on, just over an hour from now. Speaking of hoops, though, I know the Bucks are out of it, but I mean, right now, whose stock are you buying for the next couple years, for the next few years? Some Bucks or some T-Wolf stock? I mean, if you're a Minnesota sports fan, is it fair to say that your Timberwolves are probably your best shot right now, the closest team to win a championship? And that is not a knock on the Twins or the Vikings. I'm not trying to make a knock on that. But right now, this Minnesota Timberwolves team is playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of freaking momentum right now. I mean, if you're a T-Wolves fan, you have got to be flying high. That first half last night, especially the second quarter. But, I mean, they came in and just laid it down right away. Outscoring the Nuggets 33-15 in that second quarter. And remind you, this was without Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert did not play in this game. Led by Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man himself, 11 of 17 from the field, 27 points, 7 dimes. Karl-Anthony Towns, 27 points, and that man shot 10 of 15 from the field too. I mean, they were just, nobody could slow him down on the offensive side from the Nuggets. Jamal Murray struggled. 3 of 18, just 8 points. Jokic, just 16 points, 5 of 13. I mean, for crying out loud, the Nuggets shot 34.9% from the field and just 30% from 3. T-Wolves were an even 50% overall from the field. But, I mean, this team right now is just – I'm a big believer when it comes to sports, momentum. They are riding this momentum right now after a 4-game sweep from the Phoenix Suns. I don't know if they heard, the talk thinking, okay, Suns are probably, but I think a lot of people, I don't know if they were technically the favorite, Vegas lines and such. But we heard, I'm guilty of it. Brandon said the same thing too. We all picked the Suns to win. What did the Timberwolves do? They go out there and sweep them, shut them down. And right now they've taken 2 games on the road in Denver against a team that was fantastic at home in the regular season. They've taken those 2 games, and now the series moves to Minnesota. Driver's seats, hand out the window. The Timberwolves right now got to be feeling pretty good, especially the fans, especially if you are a Timberwolves fan right now. You have got to be feeling fantastic. And if I'm buying some stock, okay, if I'm buying some future stocks, Bucks, Giannis, Dame, but then you've got the Timberwolves with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns and such like there. I mean, if you said, hey, I'd rather buy some T-Wolf stock right now, you're not going to get a big argument from me. And that Giannis is still Giannis and such, but right now, I mean, you got Anthony Edwards who's 22 years old, and he's probably going to get better, which is even more scary. Think about it. This guy is 22 years old, and he's probably going to get better. That's scary. I might have to buy a little futures of the Timberwolves. And the thing is, when it's with the Bucks, is just I don't know what else they can do right now to surround Giannis and Dame. Financially, who's out there, who's available and such. I don't know. I don't know who's out there, or I don't know what they can do. We know who's out there, but I don't know what they can do really to kind of help surround them. So you got Ant-Man here, Anthony Edwards. I mean, give credit the job that the Nuggets, or excuse me, the Timberwolves have done. You just hope with their ownership drama over there, it doesn't kind of derail things and cast a light over the good things that's happening with the Timberwolves. So hey, tip of the cap to you guys, man. Fantastic. They're playing some really, really good basketball right now. If you're a Timberwolves fan, you should be absolutely pumped up right now. Excited. I mean, again, I'm a big momentum believer. You keep riding this. To quote your former great player when he was with Boston, Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. So, the NBA playoff schedule will continue tonight here. By the way, last night too, the Knicks taking down the Indiana Pacers in game 1 of their series, 121-117, kind of rekindling that rivalry back in the 90s and early 2000s and such. A lot of memorable playoff matchups between the Pacers and the Knicks there. But coming up tonight, we got game 1 between Cleveland and Boston, and game 1 between Dallas and Oklahoma City. So, Stanley Cup playoffs last night. So you had had Boston taking down Florida. So Boston in game 1 getting that 5-1 victory. Tonight we got a couple more games on the docket here. Carolina at New York. The Rangers up 1-0 in their series, and then Colorado taking on Dallas on the road. So that'll be game 1 of that series. Tomorrow we got Edmonton at Vancouver. That'll be game 1 for that particular series too. So Stanley Cup playoffs continuing to roll on as well. All right. Don't forget, it is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, your ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. So got anything that's grinding your gears? Let us know. Get it off your chest. Now is the time. Today is the day for you to let us know what's grinding your gears. All right. You got permission to do it today and today only. Just hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Speaking of the Casper Classic that G-Man mentioned a little bit earlier, 10 a.m. sold out. 10 a.m. is sold out. So a huge thank you to everybody who has signed up for the 4th annual Casper Classic. We still got slots for the 1:30 tee time. We still have slots for the 1:30 tee time over there. So just head to sportstalk1051.com and sign up your two-person team. Still a few more days left with the early bird pricing over there. And if you wanted to get really in early morning and maybe even before work, we actually do have some slots for 7:30. So if you want to get in a little bit earlier, maybe get your round in quicker, we do have spots opened up for 7:30 too. So just throwing that out there. That's an option as well. Okay. But big thanks to our sponsors again for the Casper Classic, the 4th annual Casper Classic this year. Got to thank Hy-Vee. They're going to be doing the lunch again over there. Carpet City Flooring Center, Park Ridge Distributing, AJM Automotive Service, The Elbow Room, Muldoon's Menswear, Doododge Inn, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey Nikolai, Hannah Sellner Agency, American Family Insurance, Gemco Surfaces. They're on board with us this year, and Shepke Chiropractic. So, and okay. I thought I missed one, but nope, we got her on there. So, and Shepke Chiropractic over there too. So, coming up in just a few months, August 2nd. So, all right. Or you can visit 715store.com. It's up there too. 715store.com if you want to get your two-person team out there. Just $90. Prices are going to go up a little bit later on, though, so you want to make sure you get your team in. All right. We played that presser a little bit from Jeff Hafley, new Packers defensive coordinator in the first hour. Your reaction, your thoughts from what you heard. What if I threw this question out there? So we've heard him talk a couple of times now, right? We've heard him as introductory presser. Was it 3 months ago, 3-ish months ago? Heard him yesterday. He's saying the right things. He's swooning us Packers fans. He's getting us all excited and jittery and smiling and exciting. It's the honeymoon stage right now. What is it that he has said? His philosophy, his thoughts, his perspective. What is it that you're most excited about? I feel like the majority is probably going to say press man coverage. But is there something else? Is there something that he has said that has you the most excited? Like the things I took away from yesterday, again, is this theme of run and hit, speed and physicality. Not trying to do too much so you can play fast, not thinking and just reacting. Attitude, effort, commitment. Defensive line has to attack, not going to be passive and reacting. Got to get after the quarterback. So he tells his group at the end of every defensive meeting, defensive line, get after the quarterback. You touched on all that yesterday. So what is it that you maybe are most excited about if you had to kind of pigeonhole it, if you kind of had to narrow it down just a skosh? Saying a lot of good things that gets us all ooey and gooey inside. But if you had to narrow it down, what's maybe maybe it's not a style, maybe it's not a scheme thing, maybe it's just something else, maybe it's a little bit more generalized. So hit me up with a text, all right? 715-830-1912 or comment on the video stream up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or hit me up on Twitter/X at DANKASPER. We'll take a quick break and we'll get back to some more of your thoughts and football chat too. And of course, we'll get back to some Brewers chat. Brewers, they'll try to end this 3-game losing streak again with another game tonight.
Transform your home with new appliances now at Menards. We offer the lowest prices and the largest in-stock appliance selection. Ready to take home today. Check out top appliance brands, including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. Upgrade your home and save big money on new appliances at Menards. Shop our entire selection of appliance options online today at menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
This update is sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Brewers Baseball Academy, presented by Fleet Farm, returns to cities this summer for its 12th year. Kids aged 6 to 14 are invited for a week of instruction and fun, plus a VIP day at American Family Field. Space is limited. Don't miss out. Visit brewers.com/camps for details. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
If Culligan isn't treating your home's water, you likely have water problems all around you, like hard-to-clean chalky residue on your shower, faucets, and bath, stains around your sink drains, spots on your dishes and glassware, plus dull, dried-out hair and skin, and problems you don't see, like scaly buildup in the water heater and pipes. But have no fear, you're in the clear with Culligan Products and Service. For all your residential and commercial water filtration needs,
visit CulliganH2O.com for your local Culligan water dealer.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
We'll make your building tough as a Northland with quality materials and custom-made plans. Northland Buildings.
Farmers across the Midwest count on Northland Buildings to keep their equipment and livestock safe in unpredictable Midwest weather. A machine shed, a workshop, a barn, or other farm building can be custom built to your size and needs. Built tough and economical, long-lasting, and virtually maintenance-free. Many colors and styles to choose from, too, to personalize your building. Their experienced sales reps help you with your project from start to finish. So get affordable protection for your livestock and equipment and keep your valuables safe. Find out why farmers prefer Northland Buildings and recommend them to their neighbors. Call 800-736-4510 or go to northlandbuildings.com. You deserve a quality Northland building at a fair price, built tough for the Northland.
Northland Buildings.
Are you ready to start a meaningful career in healthcare? Are you looking for a job that fits your work-life balance? Become a certified direct care professional today and make life better for older adults or people with a disability. WIS Caregiver Careers makes it easy with free online training plus earn a $500 bonus. See your name on Wisconsin's Certified Direct Care Registry. Sign up today at wiscaregivercdcp.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Get ready to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, May 10th, with Hidden Timber Soul Sanctuary, One Fest, and Main Street Cafe. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
Hurry! Time's running out to shop spring savings at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to spring into deals on the appliances you need. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG major appliances. Because Lowe's knows spring savings. Offers valid through 5/15. Selection varies by location. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
He's smart, informed, entertaining, and he knows his sports. In other words, he's the kind of guy I'd like to settle down with in a small, cozy cabin in the woods. That is, if he was a woman with a case of cold ones. The Dan Kasper Show, weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
Want to give another big thanks to our good friends at Carpet City Flooring Center. Yesterday picked up the donation check from our putting challenge back at the beginning of April. But $900 backyard, $900 Carpet City Flooring Center donated to Backyard Dreams because of all the putts made by you, for everybody who stopped on by. So a big thanks for all of you who stopped by our putting challenge at Hy-Vee that was hosted by Hy-Vee, but then it was the Carpet City Flooring Center putting challenge over there. So every putt that was made, Carpet City Flooring Center donated $25, and we were able to raise $900 for Backyard Dreams. So picked up that check yesterday. Again, a huge thanks to the entire crew at Carpet City Flooring Center for that. Took the Dan Van Mobile Man Cave over there, and they're going to be putting a little something in the back to help us spruce up the back of that mobile man cave there to make it really look like a man cave. So excited to get that going and kind of do a little remodeling in there and take her on the road and do some live shows and some remote shows, some tailgate road trips, podcasts. I know we're going to be at Carson Park at the end of the month for Sports Talk Night, May 31st. We're going to be doing a show over there that morning, so that'll be a lot of fun. But we're looking for some ideas and some locales to maybe do some visits, do some podcasts, or even doing some shows. But a big thanks to those who will be joining along with us for all of our road trips. That's Toyson Ford, that's Woods and Water Realty, the Elbow Room as well, partners, sponsors of the Dan Van Mobile Man Cave over there. All right, so we heard from Jeff Hafley. We played a little bit from his presser yesterday, new Packers defensive coordinator, and a lot of you kind of chiming in with your thoughts. It's a resounding big thumbs up from what you heard from Jeff Hafley. But Joe, what's, for all the stuff that he has said, a couple times we've heard him now in press conferences, his beginning one and then yesterday, he's had a lot of themes. A big one is run and hits. We've heard attitude, effort, commitment, not doing too much, more of a react instead of thinking. Defensive line, he ends his defensive meetings telling his defensive line to go after the quarterback. What's one thing that you're really excited about that Jeff Hafley, from what you've heard, that you're excited about that he's going to bring to the table this year?
No, I think it goes to the defensive line. And I think that really is where it starts. And you look at the talent on the defensive line. And again, I include now Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith and Lucas Van Ness and maybe Yannick Bari in that defensive line discussion, because now they're playing that left end, right end with their hand in the dirt. But you look at Kenny Clark and Devontae Wyatt and TJ Slate, Carl Brooks, and all those guys that they were bringing in a 3-man front, and now you're looking at a 4-man front. I think they asked him yesterday about TJ Slayton played so well in the nose, and he said, well, we could still play him shading in that A gap. And so I think for me, it really starts and ends with the attitude and the aggressiveness of the defensive line. And I think you go back to Joe Barry, the defensive line, and traditionally most 3-4s. I don't want to, throw more dirt on Joe Barry at this point, but most 3-4s, you are a read and react defensive line because the strength of your defense is going to be in those 4 linebackers. But when you've got an attack mode, I think that's something that's going to be interesting to see, where it's Kenny Clark and it's Devontae Wyatt and some of these guys. And you saw it last year with Wyatt, with the explosiveness in getting into the backfield. Now, again, he couldn't finish, but I think the explosiveness, the fact that he plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage is going to be big. So I would start there. And again, I think that aggressive, that, hey, we're going to be attacking the gaps. We're not going to be reading and reacting. I think that has me most exciting. The one thing, though, that I just want to steal from a nugget that I caught yesterday several times, because obviously everyone wants to talk about Quay Walker. Everyone wants to talk about Edgerrin Cooper. But he kept on going back to McDuffie and what he brings to the table. He kept on including him in the conversation. So I think that's important to know, that I think that there are still very, very big plans, I think, for Isaiah McDuffie on this football team.
I know we had the rookie mini camp, rookie orientation this past weekend, couple days worth of practice and such. And, not to glean a lot from it. But, from what you saw from the reporters who were there, or what you saw on Twitter/X and some of the feedback out there, anything kind of stand out to you?
Javon Bullard played primarily at that safety spot. So, there was a question when he was drafted, can he play that slot position, and will they move him around more? But he was pretty much almost 100% at that other safety spot next to X. And so I think that was one of the things that stood out for me. And I think, again, the fact that Tyron Hopper and Edgerrin Cooper are really about the same size. Because I thought on tape, and even though you kind of see it in the writing, you thought, wow, Edgerrin Cooper seems bigger than Tyron Hopper, but they look both the part. And so, but the biggest thing for me was Javon Bullard really focusing in on that other safety position rather than moving him around and playing other positions. So I think that's the one thing. And again, in the press conference, referred to Kalen King and the chip on his shoulder. So I think those are a couple of the things. The other thing, though, Captain, that again, the leadership that he was talking about, what the in the locker room kind of guy they got with Xavier, and also talked about with Jair Alexander. And so I think the leadership thing, and you talk about Packer guys, I think at least what they're saying right now is there's some leadership in that locker room, because you ask yourself, where is the leadership going to come from? You don't have Aaron Jones, you don't have David Bakhtiari, you don't have Devondre Campbell, and you got Jordan Love, but some other guys are going to have to step up. So that was the other thing too, is what they're bringing to the classroom, what they're bringing to the locker room, and what they're bringing to their other teammates from a leadership standpoint.
We heard, Jeff Hafley, and we've heard, LaFleur kind of talk about too, just the energy. And I saw, was it Wes Hodowitz, who covers the Packers for Packers.com and Green Bay Press Gazette? He even noted that was probably the most energetic, competitive rookie orientation that, he has seen since covering that. Is all of these signs, for Jeff Hafley, who was hired, kind of was like, who, when it was first hired, college coach coming over. But from everything we've been hearing, does that kind of almost tell you too that, these guys are buying into what he's selling to, that these players are all in and they're buying in and they're all on board with what he wants to do?
Yeah, and he gave a lot of credit to LaFleur in his presser. He talked about the fact that there was buy-in even before he got here, that maybe this hiring, maybe this was Matt LaFleur going to his players and saying, what do you guys want? What do you guys need? Because he really credits LaFleur, and I think that's something to note, that what LaFleur has brought to the table and how this team was built before he even got there. So, and again, I think we all look at Matt LaFleur, and obviously he was very close with Joe Barry. And one of the things that we always talked about is that next step, that growth step that you need to take sometimes as a head coach, is maybe firing your friend. And that we questioned whether or not he was going to be able to do that. And he did that. And I think it was in response to his players. So I think LaFleur has the locker room. I think this coaching staff has the locker room. It was interesting, Captain, because I just want to flip over to the offensive side of the ball, Adam Stenavich, because, again, it's that buy-in, and it's that fact that they know what they have to work with now, whereas last offseason they really didn't know what they had in some of the rookies and in Jordan Love. And so the fact that they can start fast, and we talked last year that this football team it probably offensively won't be able to start fast. And so, yeah, you're getting this feeling that Green Bay wants to get out of the chutes quickly. They want to play with energy. And again, they've got the youth to do so. I mean, they're going to be, once again, the youngest team in the NFL. If not the youngest, they're going to be pretty darn close to it. And so I think they're going to take the youthful energy that you get, the youthful exuberance that you get, and turn that into, a really fired up football team. Now, again, everything needs to happen on the field, but everyone's saying the right things right now. And on paper, everything looks good. But, an injury to Jordan Love, this type of thing happens, and all of a sudden you trip up, and this team, again, falls flat on its face. So right now, the expectations are through the roof. I think when most prognostications come out, I think Green Bay is going to be picked at the top of the NFC, one of the top teams of the NFC. So the pressure is certainly on them, but I think everybody's saying the right thing. Everybody's rowing in the right direction. Everyone's moving this thing forward, and you just sense that there's an energy there. And again, I think football is a sport built on energy. I think if you've got that in the building, you can do great things on the field.
Staying with the offense, and Stanovich was talking about the running backs, and he said Josh Jacobs is an every down type of back, and Lloyd brings some unique explosiveness. What do you think is going to be for his rookie year, kind of that go-to role for Lloyd? Is he a typical third down back type of role, or just kind of giving Jacobs a breather here or there? What do you think the game plan is going to be for Lloyd in his rookie year?
Yeah, well, first of all, Lloyd's playing time will depend on how he does with blitz pickup, because that's always going to be key no matter who the quarterback is for the Green Bay Packers. You want to play running back for this football team, you've got to be able to pick up the blitz. But I don't see Lloyd as a typical third down back, because I see Josh Jacobs' ability to catch the ball and to go in motion and to do those types of things. I see, even though he's a bigger back than Aaron Jones, I see that same type of versatility. So you don't want to take Jacobs off the field on a traditional third down type of situation. So I see Lloyd really being a spot fill. I see Lloyd coming out in a two-back system where Josh Jacobs is there. I see him going in motion. A lot of the things you saw on tape with Marshawn Lloyd is playing in space, and the fact that you got him the ball in space. And so I see that type of a thing with Lloyd, but I do not see it as a traditional third down role. I see it more as when Jacobs needs a blow, or maybe there are some set plays for Lloyd because he does bring a little bit of a different skill set. But the thing you like about both Josh Jacobs and Marshawn Lloyd is what they do with the ball in the passing game. And again, playing in space. And I think that's where LaFleur is probably like a kid in a candy shop right now saying, man, this is going to be fun. And again, Captain, I've kind of tweeted about this in the off season, but don't be surprised. Because without a Josiah DeGuara kind of player, that if A.J. Dillon makes this football team, he might be a little bit more as that H-back, and he might be a little bit more of that guy that you start putting in the move and block on the move. And so don't be surprised with what they have now with Jacobs and Lloyd and Dillon, that A.J. Dillon becomes a little bit more of that H-back. And so, yeah, I'm excited about Lloyd. He really has an interesting style to his game that I didn't pick up as much as I should have on off-season tape. But I'm excited what he brings to the table. Not a thunder and lightning. It's not really that type of a thing. But I think he brings a lot to the table.
To kind of wrap it up, the Packers seem like they're going to be giving him a shot to get this job. There's still some questions from the national peeps out there whether he can do it. Right here on May 7th, do you think Jordan Morgan's going to be the starting left tackle for Green Bay?
It seems it's going to be a battle. It's going to be Rasheed Walker and Morgan, and they said we're going to keep. As a matter of fact, they also said they like Zach Tom at right tackle, and so that was an interesting thing too, because I think there was a lot of speculation that Zach Tom's going to move to center, and there's all this talk that the Packers really like him at center, and the Packers don't like Josh Myers. Well, they do. They like Josh Myers, and again, when you look at this football team, they who knows what's going to happen next year. This year, though, I'm going to say this. I think on May 7th, I don't think they draft Jordan Morgan if they didn't think that this guy could start from day one. I don't think they draft him in the first round. All right, so one of two things is going to happen, I think. Either Rasheed Walker really, really steps up his game, and then you've got a question of where to put Morgan, or Morgan takes it over. And I think at this point, May 7th, I will make the prediction that Jordan Morgan is your day one starter.
All right. I can't wait to watch that offensive line battle in preseason training camp. That might be my favorite position group to watch this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, and I love what they've done. You look at this draft, and you look at even now the Packers still bringing in a couple of lower tier offensive linemen free agents, and competition is a wonderful thing. Bottom up pressure is a wonderful thing. When you've got the guy behind you, rather than the coach trying to push you along, when you've got that guy, it's the rising tide that makes everything better, man. And so, yeah, I think there's some exciting. Look, they win it either way, because if Rasheed Walker steps up and beats out Jordan Morgan, then you start playing Jordan Morgan at that right guard and you see if he can beat out Sean Ryan. So yeah, I'm with you 100%, Captain, that this is going to be a fun camp with some cool battles that you can look after and see where this thing shakes out to start the year. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's only a couple of weeks away from OTAs. I mean, we're rolling, man. It's May. Before you know it, July is going to be here, and then we got preseason football. So we're back at it. And real quick, before I let you go, Captain, I know I did this on Twitter, but I want to congratulate you here that winning first place Best Online Personality News Talk category, Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Gala. Congratulations, my man. You deserve it.
Well, big thanks, man. But you know what? You came through like Jordan. I challenged you on Twitter to bring it home, and for me, and you did. So I mean, you get the credit there too. You're the lucky charm. So I'm just saying.
No, well, you did all the hard work, man. And I got to tell you, and I said this to you, in today's age, the ability to deliver content on multi-platforms and do it well, that is the bar that all broadcasters need to reach. And you do it excellently. And you were number one, man. And again, very proud of you and very happy to be part of your team.
Man, I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And that's a good way to end it. Now you got me speechless there, buddy. So
well, don't be speechless. You got more shows.
I know, right? Yeah. So I got to regroup here. So, hey, well, appreciate it, buddy.
Have a good one, brother.
You too, man. There you go. Joe DeGuano joining us here this morning. See Morton. I'm already flipping my words here. So let's take a quick break. All right. Then we'll finish up the second hour here. We got more baseball talk to get to. Brewers trying to end this 3-game losing streak that they're on. They'll see if they can do it tonight with Colin Ray on the mound. We got some Badger chat coming up next hour too. Also, Grind My Gears Tuesday. The ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? Send those babies on over, all right? 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. It is that time of year where we start to get a little bit more active, whether it's playing in a weekend ball tournament or maybe doing some projects around the home or the yard. Our bodies, they're moving a bit more. And maybe that's your reminder too that you've got some achy joints. Kind of forgot about it, then you started moving around and like, oh, yep, forgot about that. Or maybe you just got a little bit banged up rounding the bases this past weekend. Whatever the case may be, you don't have to live with that pain, all right? Just visit Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and let the team there help you get back on the field of play or back to doing some of your home projects around the house there. Whether it's knee, shoulder, or any orthopedic issue, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine will help you live that pain-free life. Just visit cvosm.com to get started. Even my wife, just a couple weeks ago, making an appointment, visited Dr. Crow to help with some shoulder issues. He's already gotten her feeling better with her shoulder issue too. So you've heard intern talk about it. Dr. Crow, you hear every Friday morning for Inside the Training Room. That dude's awesome, man. I always love chatting with Dr. Crow. So, but yeah, you're looking, just visit cvosm.com and schedule your appointment, and maybe you get to meet up with Dr. Crow, and he can help you out with some of your pains that you're going with, aches and pains that you're dealing with right now. So, all right, baseball. Back to baseball here. The Brew Crew back in action tonight as they get set for Game 2 against the Kansas City Royals. Brewers looked like they were gonna maybe pick up that W yesterday. 2-0. Bryce Wilson was dealing. Bullpen kind of letting them down. Although the offense, I mean, you just had the Gary Sanchez home run, 3 total hits there. Would have liked to have seen a little bit more offensive production, a little bit more, a few more hits on there too to give a little bit more of a breathing room, if you will. But that wasn't the case last night as the Royals put up 3 in that bottom frame of the 7th inning, and that was enough to get the victory in Game 1 of their 3-game sets for the Royals. Cubs also lost yesterday, though, too. So Brewers still holding on to first place by the slimmest of margins in terms of win percentage in the division. So you got Colin Ray on the mound tonight for the Crew. Will he remain undefeated? Looking for his 4th win on the season. It's going to be tough, though. The offense has to come out tonight for the Brewers. They have to come out tonight because you're going up against Sean Lugo, who's 5-1 with a 1.60 ERA. And this is a guy that goes deep into games too. So Brewers, they come out, try to be aggressive right away, try to rack up his pitch count right away. But he is, especially his last couple games, gone to the 7th inning in each of those games, and he has been on fire all season long. So this Brewers offense is going to have to get it going for this one, maybe being aggressive right away and tacking on some runs right away in this game. Perhaps they're going to get a little bit healthier coming up here. Christian Yelich took some swings in the cage yesterday before the game, and Pat Murphy originally said that was kind of like could be his last hurdle that he would have to clear. So maybe this week. Yesterday we talked about, Yelich was hoping to maybe get some game action before the end of this road trip. Well, you got 2 more games for that, today and tomorrow. So perhaps taking the last step, getting some work in the batting cage before the game yesterday. So that's a significant step, and perhaps the final step that he has to go through before getting back on the field to play. Pat Murphy saying that we'll see where we're at after he took those batting practices on the field. Yelly's a consummate pro. He knows his body. He knows himself, and I trust him. So could be as soon as this week we can finally see Christian Yelich back on the field. Also of note, too, Freddie Peralta dropped his appeal and began his 5-game suspension. So dropped his appeal. Will begin that 5-game suspension, which, I mean, timing-wise, he pitched on Sunday. He's beginning it. So he won't be eligible to pitch again until Saturday against the Cardinals. So Anybody maybe going down in that game against the Cardinals on Saturday? Perhaps expect Freddie Peralta to pitch in that one there. But it makes sense timing-wise. You peeled it initially so he could get his starts. Got that start against the Cubbies. Now you do it, and you serve it. It's not 5 starts. It's 5 games. You sit, maybe 1 day extra, and now he's going to be going up against the Cardinals. Instead of maybe originally it was going to be Friday, it's going to be on Saturday over there too. So, but Brewers making some moves up and down. Jacob Junis was transferred to the 60-day injury list. Jansen Junk option to AAA. Kevin Hergert selected from AAA and up with the ball club, getting some fresher arms into that rotation, into that pen there for the Brewers. So, all right, let's catch up on some texts. Haven't gone through some texts here, so let's do that. We'll catch up on a few here. We've got Jim saying here a little bit earlier in terms of whose stock he's buying, Bucks or T-Wolves. He said definitely going with the T-Wolves right now. I'm a big Bucks fan, but you cannot deny what we're seeing with Anthony Edwards and his rise. This is definitely his coming out party. And like you said earlier, he's just going to get better and better. Dave also buying stock in the Timberwolves. He's saying, I think Giannis is still the better player, but right now the sky is the limit for Anthony Edwards. Anybody who hasn't been watching this Timberwolves team or Anthony Edwards lately, you are missing out on potentially the next all-time great basketball player. Catching up on some text from the Jeff Hafley conversation we were having over there. John saying, love everything that I've been hearing from Jeff Hafley and his pressers, but like you mentioned too, let's see it on the field. I'm high on this defensive unit this year. I think a new voice coming into that room is going to pay dividends for this younger team, and I'm really excited to see what they can do with their linebacking group. With that linebacking group, I think I mentioned it a little bit yesterday with Cooper and Quay Walker. The athleticism and the personalities there, and then you bring in Anthony Campanelli as your linebackers coach. I think you're going to see some guys playing with their, to quote Jeff Hafley, with their hair on fire. I think that's going to be one of the most fun groups to watch this year, just to see really how active they are across the field. I think that's been something that's been missing here a little bit. Just all over the field. I mean, I can't be the only one who's been jealous for a while now to see some of these teams with dominant linebackers that go side to side or hit the holes. I mean, the Fred Warners of the 49ers. Hell, I'll even go back to Harbaugh's 49ers when it was Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, those types of guys. These linebackers that are just all over the place. I've been wanting that for a while now. And I'm hoping we get to see that. Another texter here, no name, but texter saying, I love what Jeff Hafley said about the defensive line and the mindset that they have to go out there and get after the quarterback. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a cool point, too, that Jeff Hafley, mentioned that he says they end defensive meetings out there, telling his defensive line to go get after the quarterback. Doesn't want his defensive line to be passive and react. Wants them to attack, to go up the field, to attack. Kind of maybe unleashing him a bit, right? Let's see it all play out. Run and hit. That seems to be the theme for this team. You've heard Matt LaFleur use the phrase. Jeff Hafley used it a few times yesterday. Run and hit. Run and hit. Speed and physicality. No thinking, just reacting. Man, we're putting a lot of stock into this too. And I know Steno talked yesterday too, and Adam Sinovich, the offensive coordinator. And like Joe mentioned, I think it's a good point too, where he mentioned, because he was asked a few times yesterday, compared to last year to where they're at now with the offense, how different is it? And he mentions, it's like night and day. Not really doing a whole lot of installs. Got a new quarterback coming in or I shouldn't say new quarterback, but new starting quarterback. But then, you had brand new tight ends. Jaden Reed. What your leading wide receivers were coming into their second years. That was your veterans. And this year, you've gotten a year under their belts. It's a little bit easier. Now they can kind of go in there and go maybe with a little bit of attack mode. So we'll see how fast the offense maybe kind of gets it going when the season comes up here. Maybe some new wrinkles too. Now that they've got the basics down, now that they got their foundation and their basis in play, and it's kind of like second nature, maybe we'll see some new wrinkles with the offense. So, all right. I'm excited for that. Good friend Dave from Ray's Place. Dave, I was going to reach out to you here in a second, but Joe just said so. Congrats on your achievements. Well, thank you. Doug on the video stream. Congrats, Dan. What a great award. Listened to you for 12 plus years and love the show. Has it been that long, Doug? Holy moly. I'm old. Appreciate it, Doug. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words there. That's awesome. All right, 2 in. We got 1 more to go here. We're going to chat some Badgers coming up next hour. Badgers getting some more reinforcements in the transfer portal. We'll hit that up in about 20 minutes with RJ Cardinal. Third hour kicking off on this Tuesday morning. Hopefully you're all off to a fantastic start, people. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you may be checking in from. We're going to catch up with our good buddy RJ Cardinal coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Badger basketball. I know last week we talked about a couple players, but continuing to add through the transfer portal and such. So we will we'll catch up with RJ, get his thoughts on that in about 15. Yeah, so let's say 15 or 20 minutes or so. So we got that coming up. We'll do some picks and predicts at the back end of this hour. Brewers game. We got Stanley Cup playoffs. We got the NBA playoffs also going on here too. So we'll make some picks and predicts coming up at the back end of this hour. So hey, we got a good friend, Coach Faunus, American Legion Baseball. So they've got. I want to give a little shout. They got a fundraiser going on this Saturday. I just saw this on the good old Twitter. This Saturday, May 11th, from 4 to 7. At the VFW Post 305, Coach Faunus, Coach Flater, Coach Johnson, all be mixing, or at least they say they're at least attempting to old-fashioned drinks of all flavors. Your choice. Costs us $6 with tips going to their program. So go check that out if you got nothing going on Saturday for the American Legion Eau Claire baseball team. So got to give a shout out to our good buddy, Coach Mark Faunus and crew over there. So I have to check that out. I don't know if Mark's listening right now, but I'm going to have to put his old-fashioned mixing skills to the test there, perhaps on Saturday. So, all right, let's get a few more texts to catch up on here for the green and gold. See, it's whenever we get to a little Packers chat, whenever we get to a little green and gold, that sparks the conversation here. But this one is from Sam. Sam is saying that we've got love the where's looks like a little talk to text here. Love what I hear from Jeff Hafley. You asked, what are you really looking forward to with him coming in? I know everybody talks about the defensive backs and looking at, excuse me, and looking at man-to-man press coverage, but I'm really excited about the defensive line play after what he said about his mentality for the defensive line from his presser. I'm assuming when you say mentality, is it that when he ends his meetings saying, go get after the quarterback and not be passive and not react in that. I think that's kind of what you're referring to. Steve from Eau Claire. When is Major League Baseball and the Umpires Union going to step in and tell these umps they need to grow a little bit thicker skin? Just saw last week, I saw a YouTube video where Tommy Lasorda was ripping the ump one side and down the other, and the ump let him. He remained calm, responded to what Lasorda was arguing, and never tossed him, even though Lasorda kept barking at him on his way back to the dugout. Nowadays, that would get you tossed before you could even blink. I know it's not the MLB one, but the NBA, it was game one of the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, I mean, he laid one down, and he did a little stare down of an opponent, and he got teed up. And Reggie Miller just went off on the telecast, saying how ridiculous of a technical foul that was. And I completely agree. Like, it was a little bit of a stare. I mean, what, couple seconds, few seconds? And I'm just like, you know what? How many times did, like, Jordan do that? How many times did, like, Kobe do that or anything like that? They would have gotten teed up how many times in a game or in a week? I just thought that was a weak technical call. So I know it's not MLB there, Steve, but when I read that, I was reminded of the technical foul on Anthony Edwards. Was that Saturday night? Yeah, it would have been Saturday night for game one there. Just, yeah, weak. A few more texts to get to here. Dave, do we think linebacker can play old school? Old school. Al Davis said the quarterback must go down hard. I don't know about old school, or it almost kind of depends on. And I know they were talking about Quay Walker. He's a guy who can rush off the edge and get after the quarterback and that. But I don't know if Quay Walker and Cooper are going to be guys that are going to necessarily rack up a ton of sacks, and I don't know if that's necessarily going to be their job. I just want those guys to be all over the field and running down guys and making some big hits. Fred Warner. How many sacks did Fred Warner get last year? Fred Warner. I mean, he's the linebacker I always go to and kind of think about. So Fred Warner, he got 2.5 sacks over there. Is that it from last year? I when it comes to Walker and Cooper, can they blitz off the edge? They absolutely can. The versatility that they bring, no doubt about it. But I just want them to be active all over the field. I want them, if there's a running back that hits the edge, get them down. If there's a mobile quarterback that hits the edge, bring them down. Go sideline to sideline, hit the holes hard and fast to not allow the running back to get to that next level. I just want these linebackers to go all over the place, to hit the field and just kind of be, when they're follow the football, go after the football and take down the football. But I'll be curious, with the defensive line to attack it. You got to factor in Rashawn Gary's on that defensive line now. Lucas Van Ness is a part of that defensive line group. Preston Smith is a part of that defensive line group. They're edge guys, but they're not 3-4 outside linebacker edge guys anymore. They're 4-3 defensive ends, edge rushers over there. I'm really curious and intrigued and excited to kind of see where their games go. We've seen Rashawn Gary the last few years standing up in a 2-point stance. Can he be more disruptive with his hand in the dirt and going after the quarterback that way? How can he take his game to the next level? He's getting paid as a premier pass rusher. Has he been uber consistent to the likes of Max Crosby? I'm trying to think of some of the top edge rushers out there. TJ Watt, I know, is an outside linebacker and such, but maybe a Micah Parsons or any of those guys. You could probably say he hasn't been super consistent, but maybe with this move to putting his hand in the dirt and kind of focusing on just being a 4-3 end there, maybe that'll allow him to be a little bit more consistent. But I think, you got Kenny Clark and you got Devontae Wyatt mixing it up in the middle there too. I know we're putting a lot of stock. It's May 7th, for crying out loud. But I could feel the enthusiasm from Packers Nation all across the state right now surrounding this defensive unit, for crying out loud. And it's only May 7th. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, too, this defense. When we look at it from the NFC North perspective, I mean, a great test going up against the Lions when we get to the regular season with their offense, Ben Johnson in that group. I mean, they got St. Brown, they got Williams, who I think they're hoping to take another jump this year at wide receiver. Sam Laporta had a great year at tight end. We know their offensive line is solid at Detroit. I mean, that's going to be a great test for this new defense, is going up against an offense like Detroit's, just more of a complete offense, because Chicago's got playmakers too. DJ Moore. Now you got Keenan Allen, but you got a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. You got another rookie talented receiver, Rome, coming in. It's going to be a challenge, but, maybe some growing pains here or there. And then Minnesota, you go with Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. We know Aaron Jones is over there. So, when we talk about defense for Green Bay, they're going to be tested in the division. It's not just, for their games across the entire league. and like Philly in week 1 and such, their division, their offenses are going to test this defense. And we'll see if they can match up, but hey, it's going to be a fast and I think maybe a little bit more of a physical defense out there. So, what else do we got out here? Signing day, North High. Megan Stanford will be signing with UWC softball. All right, congrats. Nice job, Megan. That's awesome. Congratulations. Congrats to all of the signees out there. I know Justice kind of talked about it yesterday. Brandon talked about it on our local sports segments that we do on Monday and Friday. So congrats to everybody who is signing their letter of intents out there. All right. What else do we got here? Let's catch up on some more texts and comments from others. Baseball wise, for the Brewers, we got Jim. Jim saying last night was such a downer for that Brewers team. Looked like they were going to pull it off. I feel bad for the starting pitcher who pitched a really good game and ends up getting the loss. Well, he didn't get the loss. He got the no decision, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Like, you got the no decision there. He deserved the win, Bryce Wilson. I mean, the guy has been asked to do more. Guy who started off originally going to be a bullpen one. They stretched him out, and he has just been he's performing incredibly well. You got to tip your cap to him. He's been doing a fantastic job as of late here. And it's games like that where you just like, oh, that guy deserves a win on his record. Bullpen couldn't shut it down, and the offense just couldn't give him a little bit more run support. It's going to be a heck of a pitching matchup, I think, tonight, though. Colin Ray, can he go out there and remain undefeated, maybe pick up his 4th win of the season? It's going to be tough for that Brewers offense, though, going up against Kansas City's starting pitcher with Sean over there, Sean Lago. So he's 5-1 already. Is it 5? Yeah, 5-1. 1 point something ERA. Let me bring it back up here. I thought I still had it up here, his numbers. But he's pitched in 7 games. He started 7 games, and he's already 5-1. Decisions in 6 of those puppies over there. But Lugo, Sean Lugo. Yeah, 5-1 with a 1.60 ERA. All right, tell you what, let's take a quick break here. We'll switch gears up, but keep the text coming. 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, or hit us up on the video stream, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever one you're tuning in from. Hit us up with some comments there. We're gonna chat some Badgers with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Chat a little hoops there. Got another addition to the transfer portal. Addition, not subtraction. Addition. So we'll hit that up and a few other Badger notes coming up after these words.
on your hike. And if you were here, you'd take a deep breath of fresh air if you weren't so winded. But you're not here, because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. And the bugs you wipe from your headlights are all the nature you need. So if you ride, see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get an online quote in as little as 3 minutes, all from the great indoors. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Want the latest insight and analysis on your favorite green and gold football team? Check out the Green and Gold Chalk Talk video series hosted by Dan Kasper with new episodes each week on YouTube.
Getting ready for another busy travel season. We've got vacations. We're taking our kiddos to all their games and activities and events, and you need a proper vehicle to get to where you're going in safely. So Toyson Ford can help you out. Toyson Ford will go the extra mile to provide you with compelling options for new and used car shopping. They'll gladly work with you on financing no matter what your budget may be. They're committed to giving drivers across Chippewa Valley the best in customer service. Just check them out for yourself. Visit Toyson Ford today at 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls, and visit them online at toysonford.net. All right. Speaking of Toyson Ford and the Toyson family, we got express games starting at the end of the month here, and new this year too on the schedule. Going to be going up against the Madison Mallards. RJ, we might have to do something there when our Eau Claire Express take on your Madison Mallards. We might have to have a little fun bet going or something.
Yeah, I'm like surprised we haven't done anything like that yet, like a season series bet or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really have nothing to offer, but
hey,
I mean, you know,
we'll think of something creative, right? Kind of like what the Mares do when it's like a playoff game. You send a basket of goodies from Madison. Maybe I'll send some goodies from Eau Claire here or something like that. We can have some fun with that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, we'll do that. We'll talk off air sometime soon and figure something out. So,
good.
Speaking, I know it's baseball season such, but basketball, I want to lead things off here because we got another transfer portal kid coming over to Wisconsin. Tell me a little bit about this John Cat. Is it John Tanjay? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
It's another one of those transfers that, in all actuality, he's a guy who's another 4-star. I mean, really depending on what service you use to even track all this stuff. Was at Mizzou, was at Colorado State. He's a guy from Omaha, so you lost one, bringing in another. Was somebody who was hurt last year. But prior to that, averaged like 14.5 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and he overall looks to be the kind of player Wisconsin has been missing at a shooting guard position. And at 6'6" at a guard. So I mean, that's not a bad guy to have. He's got a good mid-range shot. Really looks like a solid addition, but you have people who are pointing out to last year where I think he only played in 8 or 10 games, and but yet everybody's like, well, you had a pretty bad season. Like, wouldn't you consider a bad season if you were injured for a portion of it? But look back to when he was at Colorado State in 22-23. Started all 33 games when he was doing that. So, it looks like a good addition, but you have all the people who seem to think where Wisconsin is getting poached by other Power 5 conferences, Wisconsin's picking up guys who are mid-majors or coming off an injury. And, last year, some of the bigger names, what's his face at Tennessee, Damask from Illinois, they came from mid majors. At this point, if you're under recruited, you're going to go to a mid major and then find your way to a bigger program. That's how it's going. Less about the recruiting and more about the transfer portal for some of these bigger schools who might have missed on guys. Where now Wisconsin, historically has been in on guys early in the recruiting process. Then they turn out and blossom into something, and people are like, well, how did Wisconsin get that guy? Well, they saw him as a sophomore and we're the only ones to offer him, so it's it'll be interesting to see how these guys shape up. I think Wisconsin still might be going after somebody because Greg Gard in his Guarding Against Cancer like little pregame thing with the media was like, yeah, we're probably not done yet. So who knows what they add still here as I guess a walk-on, because they've now filled all their scholarships. But yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Is it, so I'm looking at these guys that they've got coming aboard already. Xavier Amos, Cam Hunter we talked about. We just talked about John there. Then you add in Daniel Freitag, who's coming over. You got John Blackwell from last year too. I mean, I know last year we were talking about the athleticism of this team, but is it almost fair to say, just like with the guys that they got coming in for the upcoming season, they may be a little bit more athletic than what they were the past few years?
Yeah, they're a little more athletic at some positions, you could say, and then you look at it, it seems they're adding a little more skill too, because as much as you like Tyler Wall, you're getting some better shooters there at the forward position with Xavier Amos. It'll be needed to see how well he goes from Northern Illinois to Wisconsin. But I mean, he was a guy who was I can't remember if it was first team or second team Chicagoland area. So like, it's not like that's a bad hub of basketball. But you're bringing in some more talent on the shooting side, as well as some athleticism as you're building this. So it seems more of a well-rounded class, including when you put it together for the transfers and the freshmen coming in.
Yeah, interesting. So, hey, moving on to just I wanted to touch a little bit on football here, because it feels like, when I was kind of scrolling around the other day and trying to find some, spring ball stuff and with football, Will Pauling's name keeps popping up. Is he a receiver that's been having a good spring so far for the Badger team?
Yeah, it's just been continuing for him and Tresh Kakahuna, both at the slot position. So inside game for the Wisconsin passing game is going to be great. It's finding somebody to step up outside of Green to move forward here, and it's hopefully it happens. But yeah, it's inside receiving game. Pauling and Tresh Kakahuna. If you can get them both on the field at the same time, rather than have them be 1 and 2, definitely the middle and your short game is going to keep guys close to the line with the running game you're going to have, and hopefully create some one-on-ones or like some safety mismatches with some receivers on the outside. Just need a couple more receivers to be that outside threat.
Okay, so have we heard anything? Is Ches Malusi going to be cleared to go, do you think, come by fall?
I think so. I know he had the no-touch jersey on in the spring here, so that's promising, and they weren't really putting many limitations on him. So, let's hope that comes to fruition, that he's able to at least, work a light load in camp, because quite frankly, unless you're just trying to get his legs used to it again, I don't think we need to see much from him in fall camp. It's really the rest of the group we want to see and how they play out in terms of being able to be the next guy up mentality, or serviceable out there, and you have some freshmen coming in as well. So it's we really need the rest of the room to fill out there.
So what is kind of the, take us maybe back to when you were with the program, or or from what you know, like, so with spring ball kind of wrapping up, what are the players doing right now, or what's the game plan for the team heading into summer?
Well, right now you have really no responsibility football-wise until graduation's over, and then you got like another week or two after graduation, and then summer lifting starts. So we'll see all those locker or those lifting room, the weight room videos of the sirens going off and the chains going everywhere, and all the personal reps and all the whatever they call the guys on their speed tests, and all the guys who hit a certain weight in lifting. We'll see all those tweets and Instagram posts again. But yeah, so they'll have a few weeks here. Then summer conditioning, summer lifting starts. Then you go, that'll take you into July. And then you have 2 weeks off in late July, and getting ready for fall camp starting usually 1 month before your first game. So yeah, not too much downtime, but currently in the downtime until graduation is done. And I think it's like late, sometime after Memorial Day is when everything starts up again, if I'm not mistaken.
Was there anything that you gleamed or that you kind of noticed from spring ball that maybe there wasn't a question answered, or they're going to be heading into fall ball here with a certain question mark surrounding a position or a player, or is it, did you, or maybe on the opposite side of that too, was something answered for you in spring ball?
With at outside linebacker, I think we're going to be okay there with some of the athleticism they brought in. I'm still questioning the D line. We had some guys leave. Not a lot came back in. But apparently the new coach, recruits are starting to like. They brought in a couple of 4-star kids who are looking at Wisconsin, at least mentioning them. So that's good to see. D-line, I'd like to see built up a little better. That quarterback room, from everything I've read and heard, and talking to Zach Heilprin, our sports director here, Tyler Van Dyke, is the lead guy right now. Not necessarily won the job currently, but he's definitely the one heading out of spring ball that seems to be the one who will be getting the reps with the ones come fall camp.
All right. Interesting stuff there. So, all right, before I let you go, I know we chatted a little bit about it last week, but the tennis team, number 29, Wisconsin, they did fall to North Carolina 4-0 loss to North Carolina, who actually was number 4 in the country. But hey, a fantastic season for this tennis program.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd sweep William and Mary the day before, and then your season comes to an end at the hands of at North Carolina, like you said. But it's it's one of those. I think they had one win in there versus in doubles, maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of shows you where they are, because I think all the singles lost in straight sets. So it's one of those where hopefully you can build off this and move into next year and move on up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, is everything kind of from what you know off the top of your head, spring sports season kind of in the books right now for UW, or track and field? I'm assuming maybe still going on too.
Yeah, I think track and field's still going on, but then I think everything else is done, because I don't think the softball team's going to make it. Men's tennis isn't going to make postseason. I think we're pretty much done, minus track and field, and I think that ends sometime later in May.
Okay.
But yeah, or if they're still going, they're not really having the greatest amount of the greatest success this season.
No, it looks like Big Ten championships are this weekend. So yeah, there you go. So wrapping up, man. You know what the time that summer is, and then fall, and then we're back to football. It's going to go like that. So
snap of a finger and we're there.
Yep. Well, hey, RJ, we appreciate it as always, buddy. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your week, and we'll catch up again next week. Okay, bud?
Sounds good. We will talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal, our man, Badger analyst from the Zone in Madison there. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll do some picks and predicts. We've also got ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears, people? You had Steve. I think that's it. Steve, was that your grinding my gears with the MLB umpires over there too? So last call for anything that's grinding your gears. Text those on over to us at 715-830-1912. We'll take our final break and start to wrap things up on this Tuesday morning. We'll be back in a few short minutes. If you've been hitting the road a lot lately, maybe getting ready to, or maybe you've been kind of hitting some of the potholes, it's kind of pothole season there, right? Well, you better make sure your vehicle is ready to put on all those miles, or maybe you need to get some new tires because you hit that pothole, which means you should probably go visit our friends at ASAP Used Auto Parts. Not only do they have high-quality used auto parts to help with your budget over there, but they're your go-to place when it comes to oil changes and some new tires for your vehicle. So make sure your vehicle is ready to hit the road for another summer here in good old Wisconsin. Set up your appointment with ASAP Used Auto Parts today. Go check out their location, Menominee Street in Eau Claire, right behind the Eau Claire Ale House over there, over by Dodge and such. That's a sweet location in there too. If you haven't been in there, you want to talk about another man cave type of feel like we were talking about with Tilden Gun, go check out ASAP Used Auto Parts and some of the sweet stuff that they got hanging up there. Speaking of sweet stuff too, the Elbow Room, Eau Claire. It's time for some picks and predicts brought to you by the Elbow Room. That's another location where if you like some sports decor or like some memorabilia, they got it plastered all over the walls over there. Some sweet items over there just to kind of, chill, watch the game, have a nice crisp man cave light, and enjoy viewing all the awesome memorabilia hanging on the walls that Garrett has collected over the years there. So, reminder too, it's trivia nights at the Elbow Room on Wednesdays, which will be tomorrow. So go check that out there. Let's do some picks though. Start off with Stanley Cup playoffs. Tonight we've got Carolina taking on the Rangers of New York. New York leading that series 1-0. Give me Carolina to even up the series tonight. One apiece. Colorado at Dallas. Dallas coming off that Game 7 victory. Give me Dallas. I think they ride a little momentum. I was going to go Colorado there, but I'm going to go Dallas, riding a little bit of the momentum from Game 7 and picking up that victory. So those are your Stanley Cup playoff games in action for tonight. On the NBA schedule, you've got Cleveland at Boston. Cleveland coming off of that Game 7 victory against Orlando where they were down and they had to make a comeback. I'm going Boston. Boston favored by 11.5. I'd have to look at it, but I think it's the case. Has Boston been favored by double digits every single game of the postseason so far? With their first series against Miami and now Game 1 with Cleveland, I think they've been favored by double digits for every single game. I don't know if that's going to be the case throughout the entire postseason, but maybe something to kind of keep an eye on. I'm going Boston in this one. They may be a little rusty coming out here, but I think they're going to pull away. They're just so deep. They're so deep. Boston gets the win tonight. Dallas at OKC. I think this could be kind of a fun one, but I'm going to go with the Thunder. I'm going to go with the Thunder to win this one. Maybe some of those games too against New Orleans a little bit tighter, not really dominating performances. I think this is a series that could go 6. That could go maybe even 7, but I'll go with the Thunder to pick up the win tonight. MLB schedule. What do we got on the dock here? Which games do we want to pick? I mean, do we got to start throwing in some Oakland games here? We're just talking about. I think Mark Gotze's been doing a fantastic job over there with the A's. I mean, for how bad they were last year and all the attention about their poo-poo ownership and where they're going to play in that. 17-19 right now. Not bad. Texas at Oakland. Why not? Let's pick it. Give me Oakland. Come on. Let's give me the A's on that one. Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland picking up a 2-1 win yesterday. I'm going to go Cleveland again tonight. Let's go with Toronto at Philly. Ooh, spicy one there. Give me Philly, though, tonight. Let's go then with, Houston and the Astros and the Yankees. I mean, that's not even. You do have Verlander on the mound tonight, but I'm going to go with the Yankees. Let's go San Diego Padres versus the Cubbies. I'm going to go with the Cubbies tonight. Seattle at Minnesota. Minnesota picking up a win last night, 3-1. Give me Seattle though tonight. And then finally Milwaukee at Kansas City. Gosh, Seth Lugo's on the mound, and he's pitching really well. I don't know if this offense is going to be able to put up anything. Screw it. I'm going to go Kansas City. Maybe the reverse jinx will actually play out here, but I'm going to go with Kansas City tonight. I don't like that matchup with the Brewers offense going up against starting pitching from the Royals. So, all right, that's your picks and predicts. Again, brought to you by the Elbow Room in Eau Claire. All right, we got about 10 minutes left here. My ASAP used auto parts grind my gears Tuesday. I'm going back to the basketball world here. Last night's game between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Jamal Murray. So Jamal Murray had a rough night last night. He had a rough night. I mean, you're looking at it. You're looking maybe at the box score if you didn't watch the game, and you could tell Murray wasn't on. He was 3 of 18 overall from the field. Didn't hit 1 3-pointer. Scored just 8 points. Did have 13 rebounds, though. Not bad for a guy who plays in the backcourt. But he had a rough night, too, not just from what he was doing on the court, but what he was doing off the court. Specifically on the bench while the game was being played. Cameras caught it. It was at the end of the okay, I mean, they were dominating, especially in that second quarter. But, it was at this point, I can't remember what was Minnesota was up. Frustration brewing, and cameras caught Jamal Murray throwing a heat pack from the bench right into the action on the floor. And this is when the Timberwolves were on offense. You can see the official look to the bench, but he didn't know who threw it. So no technical foul was issued or nothing because he didn't know who threw it. But the cameras caught it. It was Jamal Murray. So, referees didn't see who did it, didn't see it in action. They couldn't call it. But easily you could see with the camera Jamal Murray. So, Jamal, come on, man. I mean, yes, you guys were getting your butts whipped. They were getting handed to you already in the second quarter. You were having a bad game. You don't need to be doing that stuff. Throwing heat pads or towels or whatever, throwing anything on the court during the action. I don't know if he was trying to throw it at the official. My guess was he was trying to because the bench wanted, travel called, foul called there. You can see them getting animated in that. But that's inexcusable. And that's just dumb to be throwing anything on the court while dudes are playing. You're a leader of this team. You're one of the leaders of this team. Act like it, man. Inexcusable. Don't be doing that stuff. Because you know what? Worst case scenario, somebody didn't see it. Somebody steps on it, especially if you threw it and it went into the court. I think it stayed off to a little bit of the out of bounds there. But if it went all the way in the court while the action was still going on, somebody slips and suffers an injury. Dude, what do you even, I mean, come on. That's worst case scenario, but that could have happened. So, I don't know if he's going to get fined. I don't know if he's going to get suspended. Probably fined, I would assume. But the evidence is out there. The video evidence is out there. It's just, come on, man. There's no room for that. I get frustration. Anybody who's played at any level, yes, you've been frustrated during a game. Frustrations boil over. But as a leader of this team, you got to stop it, man. Can't be doing that stuff. That's just ridiculous. All right. So we spent a good portion today. We talked Brewers. Brewers falling last night. Game 2 tonight. Again, first pitch for the game is going to be at 6:40. Yesterday it was moved up a little bit earlier because they moved it up 30 minutes to try to beat out the weather, and they got that accomplished. So if you were tuning in yesterday, maybe right before pitch, you're like, why is it already on? They announced that they moved it up 30 minutes higher, or closer, I should say. But 6:40 right now, and then tomorrow will be a day game. 1:10 is first pitch before the crew return home for a 4-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. So game 2 tonight for the Brewers. Talked a little NBA hoops, even though with the Bucks out of there. Seems like the majority, at least those of you who chimed in, we threw out the question, whose stock would you rather buy right now? Bucks with Giannis and Dame, or Timberwolves right now with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns? And majority wins. Majority went with the T-Wolves with Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns right now. So I can't argue with that. Anthony Edwards, man, that dude going to be special. He is going to be absolutely special. So, what else? We talked some green and gold here. Jeff Hafley and Adam Stenovich, offensive or defensive and offensive coordinators, respectively, chatted a little bit yesterday with the media. We focused really on Jeff Hafley because, one, he's still new to us. We heard him talk at his opening presser about 3 months ago. Now he's gotten to work with some of the guys, rookies and veterans, practice and such. And this is a guy that I think has a high Q rating right now for a lot of Packers fans out there. There's a lot of Packer fans excited what potentially he could bring to the table. You're hearing the phrase of run and hit. I don't know if that's their mantra for this year. You've heard Matt LaFleur talk about it. You've heard Jeff Hafley mentioned it a few times yesterday. What does run and hit mean? It's just speed and physicality. He wants his defense to play fast and not think too much, especially from the defensive line standpoint. He said they're not going to be passive. They're not going to play, reaction. They want them to go after the quarterback. And he talks about attitude, effort, and commitment. A lot of positive stuff to say about Xavier McKinney and the leadership that he's already brought to that room, to that team. And let's face it, too, Xavier McKinney, veteran, been around the league for a few years. His counterparts are all rookies. He's got to be that leader. He's got to be that leader in that safety room, in that defensive back room with Jair. A lot of youngsters in there. So good to hear that he's kind of bringing that leadership to the table, because there's not a ton of experience surrounding that. So, but we talked a little bit about that. And a lot of you, again, really pumped about Jeff Hafley. But let's hope that it all, transitions to the field too. So, all right, coming up tomorrow, we'll do another business of sports segment brought to you by Security Financial Bank. Hopefully we're talking about a Brewers win and they can snap this 3-game losing streak. I forgot to make I did a Twins game. What am I talking about? Twins picked up the win yesterday, so I made a prediction there. But we'll talk some more baseball tomorrow. We might do another game time coming up. We'll play a couple games tomorrow. I know last week we kind of debuted that segment. We did a little bench start cut. We might throw another one in there just to keep things fresh and get you guys and gals to play along here too. So we'll hit that up coming up tomorrow too. What else? We'll talk some more playoff hoops and Stanley Cup playoffs kind of rolling on there too. I mean, it's quiet. We might dabble into with the football world, because now you're starting to see some teams sign those veterans to 1-year contracts. You're starting to see that, draft is over with. So the veterans or the free agents that went unsigned, now you're starting to see them sign those 1-year deals. Is there a free agent that's still out there that you think would be a good fit for the Packers, like that veteran 1-year type of deal? Stephon Gilmore was mentioned. Do you add a veteran to the cornerback room? Is there another guy out there? Andre Dillard was kind of that signing right before the draft, for a little bit more depth on the offensive line. But is there, we'll take a look at maybe who's available and play a little matchmaker if there's a guy, that would be a perfect fit for like a 1-year deal to sign with the green and gold. So we'll have a little fun with that, and we'll dabble in that area tomorrow, because who knows, maybe we'll have some signings today. Doubt it, but never know. Packers don't have a whole lot of room on their roster. They don't have a whole lot of room. But you never know, right? Never know. Or if you don't have a guy, maybe what's that position that you'd like to see maybe bring in a 1 year or a veteran on a 1 year deal? Is it corner? Is it maybe another safety? Is it defensive line? Is it linebacker or wide receiver? Think about it for a little bit. That's your homework assignment, okay? We'll do that tomorrow. So hit me up with those texts tomorrow. All right, shot clock's going to cut me off here. We'll have another episode of the Man Cave Podcast brought to you by Hy-Vee and Toyson Ford up a little bit later on too. Have a fantastic rest of your day. DP and the Danettes are up next. Let's do this again tomorrow morning, just past 6 a.m. Meet you here. Talk to you then.